Okay, we want to talk about complex numbers in polar form. So here I have defined one complex number. I called it z1, and that can go into polar form as r1 cosine theta 1 plus I sine theta 1. That r1's on the outside. z2, another one, r2 cosine theta 2 plus I sine theta 2. If we want to multiply numbers in polar form, we talked about, we multiply r1 and r2, cosine theta 1 plus theta 2 plus I sine theta 1 plus theta 2. It's a really cool thing multiplying these. Just add the angles in there, multiply the moduli. Totally works. If you want to divide, same thing. z1 over z2, you divide r1 and r2, cosine theta 1 minus theta 2 plus I sine theta 1 minus theta 2. Neat thing that happens here, z1 is the cosine, this is an example problem, number 5. z1 is the cosine of 90 degrees plus I sine 90 degrees. z2 is the cosine of 210 plus I sine of 210. Then when you work this out, both of these just have a modulus of 1. That's why there's no parentheses out here. So you're just going to get a 1 in front when you divide those. Then you do 90 minus 210. That'll give you negative 120, which is positive 240 when you move it around. So this is cosine 240 plus I sine 240. The next thing we want to think about is what if I just continue to multiply the same number by itself over and over again. And you can kind of see what's going to happen there. You're just going to do, say you did z1 times itself twice. You would get r1 squared cosine 2 theta 1 plus I sine 2 theta 1. Well, what if you then multiplied it again? Well, you'd get r1 cubed. You'd add another theta 1, another theta 1. So this formula is just going to end up being, as you see here, r to the n cosine n theta plus I sine n theta. So question number 8 on your pre-class assignment. 1/2 cosine pi over 16 plus I sine pi over 16 to the 8th power. So you take the 8th power of 1/2, that's 1 over 256. Put the 8 in on each of these angles. Get 8 pi over 16, 8 pi over 16. That reduces to pi over 2. Cosine at pi over 2 is 0. Sine at pi over 2 is 1, which means I just get an I. So I get I over 256. That will take care of question number 8. Okay, the next thing that we're going to talk about are roots. And this is where we get to a fancier version of this repeated multiplication, kind of extending it to roots. It's still de Moivre's theorem. And so we start with something like z equals r cosine theta plus I sine theta. And then let's say we want to take the nth root of z. Well, we kind of know what this should do from de Moivre's theorem. Should be we're going to have the nth root of the modulus, because a root is a lot like a power. But then this part in here gets a little trickier. Instead of just dividing the angle by n, we have the cosine of theta plus 2 pi k over n and the sine of theta plus 2 pi k over n. And we're going to look at exactly how those come about in just a minute. Where k runs 0, 1, 2, up to n minus 1. So if you wanted the cube root, it would just go 0, 1, 2. If you wanted the 8th root, it'd go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to do this with the cube root of 1. So 1 in as a complex number in polar form, it has a modulus of 1. That's the distance it is away from 0, right? Over here, it's 1 away. And cosine 0, sine of 0. Right, so that is exactly what that looks like. It's just 1 cosine 0 plus I sine of 0. Right? So, in this formula, our theta is 0. So we're going to have 1 cosine 2 pi k over n plus I sine 2 pi k over n. And we're going to let k go 0, 1, and 2. That's going to spit out 3 cube roots, 1 for each of those different k's. So for the first one, we just get 1 back, right? You have 0 for your k, you're just going to get 0 over n, which is 3. So we get 0, and there we go, we get the number 1 back. Then for k equals 1, we're going to get 2 pi over 3 in each of these places. So we get 1 cosine 2 pi over 3 plus I sine 2 pi over 3. And then when k is 2, you get a 4 pi. So 4 pi over 3, 4 pi over 3. Then if you just work out what those cosine and sine values actually are, here are the 3 cube roots of 1. And you can double check those in your calculator that those all work out to what we want them to. But if we look at where those are, either in this form, if you look on the unit circle for these, where this is your x, this is your y, or you think in this form, I'm 1 away at these different angles. Here's where we are in the unit circle. And let's talk about why these are the cube roots of 1. So if I take this first one, and I start multiplying it by itself, the way we multiply in the polar form is this number we'd multiply by itself. Well, that's just going to stay 1 all the time here. And then over here, we would just keep adding these angles together. So I would multiply once, still at 0, multiply again, still at 0. This is a cube root. It put me right back here. Now look at our second one. This is this term. It's 1 cosine 2 pi over 3 plus I sine 2 pi over 3. It's here. If we multiply that once, we're going to go from 2 pi over 3, which was 120 degrees. We're going to add to that and end up at 240 degrees. Then we're going to multiply again, which will be adding another 120 degrees. We're going to end up at 360 degrees. Or 2 pi, right? If you take 2 pi over 3 and add, you're at 4 pi over 3. Add another 2 pi over 3, you're at 6 pi over 3. That's 2 pi. So basically what happens, and this modulus, again, is 1. So when we multiply it, we're just going to move from here to here. And then we're going to move from here to here. Okay? And then finally, if we start at our third point down here, which is this one, 4 pi over 3, which again is like 240 degrees, we're going to move, when we multiply this, we're going to move from 4 pi over 3, or 240 degrees, to 8 pi over 3, which is 480 degrees, which is really 120. So we're back here. And then if we add another 4 pi over 3, it's just going to take us all the way around and land us back here. So basically what we ended up doing is we chopped the plane up into 3 equal parts. And then you can start at any of those and rotate the appropriate amount of times to land up back where we want to start over here. So 0, I don't move at all, I'm back here. If I start 120 degrees away, and then I move 120 degrees twice, I land back where I want. If I start 240 degrees away, and I move 240 degrees twice, I land back where I wanted to. So that's how these nth roots work. We'll practice a little bit more with some of these in class. The formula looks more complicated than it is, but it's really mathematically kind of pretty. All right, thanks for listening.